decisions. It's not always a straightforward choice when it comes to looking at an SUV. What size do you want? What engine do you want? Can it tow? Is it going to suit my leisure activities? So where do you start? Well, you have to consider the different powertrains, especially moving forward, because this good old diesel will tow 3.5 ton, but anything with an electric powertrain or hybrid powertrain, nowhere near. I mean, currently I think the maximum is around 750 kilos, which is 3/4 of a ton. So always bear that in mind, especially if you have to tow a Formula 1 car or a caravan. I think this has to be the smallest SUV stroke car, because technically it's an ultra compact crossover. Comes with a 1.2 hybrid engine as well. And the strange thing is, it is literally a cross between a car and an SUV. Because it's taller and it's got a raised ride height, it basically fits the category of SUV, but it's more car size. But that suits so many applications. For a start, it's easier to get into. It's far more economical than the bigger ones, unless you go hybrid. Saying that, this is hybrid. But the thing that really appeals about this is the price. They start at around £13,000. Now this is the SZ5 with all grip, and this retails for just under 19,000. But it's got things like dual brake support, a really snazzy khaki paint job, and black rims as well. And it offers an engaging drive. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does offer practicality, versatility, and something cool too. And it looks like the car from the Whiz Kid, which was a Suzuki. I also love the styling on it as well, with the design cues that Suzuki are putting out on all their vehicles. For example, the Jimny, especially this 5-slat system. You get everything from LED lights through to collision detection. Keyless entry, as you would expect for a vehicle that starts at around 13,000, hard plastics everywhere, which means it's nice and easy to maintain. You've got a lovely leather wrapped steering wheel and some nice tech in there as well. Also, they add splashes of colour inside like this that matches the outside. Also, the dash panel is in a lovely cream colour too. You can also see this symbolism, which is here. Now those are the kind of touches that I love. And due to its K-car characteristics, with it being high and narrow, it means I even have headroom in the back at 6'3". You can do things like slide the seats forward as well. So versatility and practicality have really been worked into this car. The raised ride height also means that it can be a little more adventurous than say a car. Now with it being ultra compact, it's not going to be the biggest boot, but when you drop the seats, that does increase quite a bit. So realistically, you get a mountain bike in there, but you might have to take the front wheel off. You'd also get your weekly shop and a couple of suitcases too. Then we move to the mid-size SUV. So things like the HS, the Qashqai, the BMW X3. The MG HS we have is a PHEV in the exclusive trim, a 1.5 turbocharged engine with a 90 kilowatt electric motor, 0 to 60 in 6.9. But the other side of it is it's got a raised ride height, it's got decent cabin space, and it may not have the biggest loading space, but you could still quite easily get a couple of mountain bikes in the back. Whether you want to is a different matter, because the way this car is finished inside is just full of plush leathers and premium materials. Price for this one is 32,000. Decent size, suits a family extremely well, and has practicality and versatility too. Now 9 times out of 10, the interior and finishes does hike up quite a bit, which means the price goes up too. But you get plush finishes, stitching, lovely padded armrest. There are hard plastic still, but that means that they can keep it to just around the 30 grand mark, which is absolutely amazing for a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle of this size and this refinement. Lots of tech. 360 camera, full EV mode as well, meaning you can travel for about 30 miles on pure electric. It's just so well finished. Electric seats too. Descent control, but no four-wheel drive. And just look at the space in the rear as well. Considering it's mid-sized, I can fit in there with ease, I really can. And I've got things like USBs as well. Pull down armrest and all manner of things. Boot space. Well, first things first, look, we actually have a power tailgate on this model. Now, it may not be the biggest boot, but look, no boot lip, so you can quite easily get, say, 3 or 4 suitcases in there. And if you drop the seats, 2 mountain bikes will fit easily too. And under here, you've got a home charger, a battery, and an inflation kit too. Then it comes to the behemoth SUVs. Things like the SsangYong Rexton, the Toyota Land Cruiser. They are beasts and they're built for towing. The SsangYong Rexton we have is the ultimate 4-wheel drive 2.2 diesel. They've actually just released a new model that we'll have in a few weeks. But this is perfect for towing. It will actually tow 3.5 ton. We towed with the Musso a Mercedes C124, which was 1.7 tons with a 1-ton trailer with triple axle, and it towed it with no problem. And this is what the Musso is actually built on. Mega practicality. It's massive inside, big torque, and it'll tow for fun. On a motorway, it's such a pleasurable experience. And dependent on the trim you go for on something like this, depends on how the interior is. This has got a lovely padded armrest and plush seats too. And you can get things like heated and ventilated seats and all types of things. I mean, just look at the things here. Descent control, and this will quite happily take 5 people pretty much anywhere. Off-road too, because this is all-wheel drive. And the Musso is built on this, so you know it's capable. It is literally massive. And SUVs of this size, things like the BMW X5, possibly even the X7, because this is pretty long. Offers things like 7 seats. As this is set up as a 7-seater, it doesn't have the biggest boot capacity, but if I pull this, then you can see the load bed is pretty big. For 5 people going on a holiday, you could literally take everything. This would be a perfect camera car for us. And that would include absolutely everything we would ever need, and a 5-man team. You've also got warranties to consider as well. The Suzuki has a 3-year, the MG7, and the SsangYong 7 as well. But that's the thing about an SUV. You buy it to suit your needs. Each one of them will happily travel along on a motorway. It'll get up to speeds nicely. The Ignis does need a bit more of a floor. So let's face it, if you're not towing a caravan, why buy a Rexton? The Ignis would be perfectly suitable. And if you're after a family SUV with practicality, versatility, and something that's going to be doing conservatively, I'd say about 120 per gallon, then you go for something like the HS with a hybrid powertrain. The thing about SUVs is you get the same kind of features you get on a car, if not more. Everything from parking sensors, 360 cameras, to active cruise control, blind spot detection, and all manner of things. They're also easier to get into. Ultimately, the decision is yours. Whether you want practicality, affordability, or economy, or just downright quirky. In a word, there is an SUV to suit your budget. Pretty much every manufacturer on the planet makes one. So it's down to personal preference. SsangYong, MG, Suzuki, BMW, Mercedes. The list is endless. The choice is yours.